Welcome back to an exciting video. And what we're going to talk about today, open up your chord voicings by using pedal tones and drone tones. So what are we talking about drone tones and pedal tones? Well, a drone tone is exactly what it is. It is a tone that drones, one tone that'll drone throughout your chord progression. A pedal tone is the same exact thing, but that's usually kind of set aside for low tones. And they got the name pedal tone from people when they play organs. They have the pedals at the floor that play those low notes. That's how actually it came with the pedal tone sound. And I'll give you a quick explanation of both and a quick demonstration here in a second. So if you're playing your standard chords, and you want to find a way to kind of open these chords up and get better sounds, this is the prime example, the prime time to start using droning strings, droning tones, and pedal tones. And it really adds a lot of flavor to your chords, and it gives your chords a lot of sound variation without it being too complicated. When somebody says, hey, play a D911, you're probably thinking, what in the frickin' frack, how in the hell am I going to play a D911? Well, I'm going to show you, and it's not that hard because it sounds complicated, but it's not. And that's what these open strings do for you. They give your chords a tremendous amount of color, and it's adding in a lot of sixes and a lot of nines and a lot of 11s, and it's just cool. And it keeps your boring ass sounding chords from not being so boring, because there's nothing worse than playing boring ass chords. And if you're a boring ass person playing boring ass chords, you're done before you get started. So we got to spice up your playing, and we got to spice up your personality, because let's be honest, if you're going to play guitar, you got to have a little bit of attitude to play guitar. And that is why we play guitar, because hopefully we got a lot of attitude, because Lord knows I got a boatload of attitude. So here we go. Now, there's a lot of people who use these, a lot of bands, a lot of guitar players, they use this very thing that I'm getting ready talking about, these droning tones and these pedal tones. And it really makes your music sound much more layered, and it makes your chord sound a lot thicker. Let me give you an example. One of my favorite bands ever, Queensryche. Love Queensryche when they had Jeff Tate. Not as big as a fan of them without Jeff Tate, because the writing is just not there for me anymore. But when they had little Jeffrey Tate, the music was phenomenal. And the band just wrote this amazing music. And they did a lot of songs, and they used a lot of droning tones and a lot of pedal tones. Prime example, if you're familiar with the song Another Rainy Night, which goes, I have no distortion on this, but it's... Which, by the way, I do have a lesson coming up on how to play that song, the entire rhythm section, and the guitar solo. So that one will be coming up. So that song, when they get into the chorus, to the verse part of it, when they get into the verse, they're playing this chord, and it has a lot of pedal tones and a lot of droning tones over it. So the chord is actually right here. And this is an A minor add 9. And if you notice, I have a pedal tone, and I've got two drone tones. And what we're doing is we're fretting this here at the 7th fret, 4th string, then at the 5th fret, 3rd string, and you play all 5 strings. And listen to the textures of this chord. Absolutely beautiful. And in the verse, when he's singing, it plays this A minor add 9 to an A suspended 2nd. And what you're doing is you're moving this finger down at the 5th fret, you're just sliding it down to the 4th fret. And And this is what's being played under the verse. The first time, when he's singing the verse, he'll, don't slam the door on your way out. Don't leave without saying goodbye. On a long distance and not alone. Then, of course, it moves on through the rest of the song. And what they're doing is when they get to the second verse, they're playing the same thing, but they're riffing on the pedal tone. And that just really makes that fat and full, and it's just a beautiful sound. That add 9 and then go into the suspended second, absolutely gorgeous. Moving on to another example. Now, my favorite guitar player in the world, if you watch any of my videos, you already know this, and that is Sir, the Master, the Man, Randall Rhoads. That is correct, Mr. Randy Rhoads from Ozzy Osbourne. To me, he is the end-all, be-all of guitar players. He had that little touch of Yngwie with that little touch of just sheer metal brilliance, and he was a master in the pentatonic scale. And most people don't think about that when they listen to Randy Rhoads, but his pentatonic fluency, I can't think of anybody even that is that fluent in the pentatonic scale except maybe Zakk Wylde that plays metal, man, because Randy was just an absolute beast. And I got a video coming up on that, where just one of his licks that I want to go over in a video, which is actually really, really cool. And it's a good way to spice up your solos. But if you remember the song, You Can't Kill Rock and Roll, Randy plays these two chords right here. Now this first one is a B add 11. And it goes to an A add 9. All right, so what we're doing here is we're fretting off like we're going to make a B major chord at the 7th fret. Like we're just going to do just your standard straight up bar chord. So you're going to have your first finger, 7th fret on the 6th string. Then you're going to have your third finger, first finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, P-I-M-A. So you're going to have your third finger in the 9th fret, 5th string. Your pinky is going to go on the 9th fret, 4th string. Your middle finger, number 2, or I, is going to go in the 8th fret at the 3rd string. You're going to leave the 2 droning strings of B and E open. And it makes this sound. Just listen how gorgeous that is. Then when you add Randy's picking style to it, now if you took that same thing and you were just playing the B and the A respectively in straight bar chords, it would change the entire feel and the entire sound of the song. And it loses all color and all variation. And that's the cool thing about having these pedal tones and these droning tones, is it adds a tremendous amount of color and variation to your chords. It makes them sound very textured and layered. And that's absolutely beautiful. B at 11. B add 9. And I love using these droning tones. They are a fantastic way to seriously spice up what you're playing, because you get into, it's kind of like playing the pentatonic scale. If you don't force yourself out of the rut, you're never going to get out of the rut. And you're going to play the same thing over and over and over. And it's the same thing when I did my little video on triads. and playing chords in different places and inversions and stuff, you don't want to get stuck in that box. And there's nothing wrong with that. But even that has its limitations. And this kind of goes back to my whole, if you don't learn theory, the inevitable wall that is coming towards you at the speed of light, you're going to hit it so hard, it's going to kill your dogs. It goes back to that. You've got to start busting out of this chord box, because most people get stuck in the same thing. Either they're playing this, or G again, bar chords. Or they'll do the minors. And that kind of centers around their entire chord structure. And even playing the barred chords, they're still leaving so much out on the bar chords. Because if you look at it from the standpoint of playing a C, and that sounds great, but that just sounds like every other chord. There's really no texture, there's no color. This is just straight up major chords. And it does have its place, but there's always something better. So I really get into using these pedal tones and these drone tones, and when I write music, I use them extensively in music that I write. And I'm gonna give you an example. This is a song that I wrote, Leave It Alone. I used to have an original band a while back. And this is a song I wrote, and it's just a brutal bust you in your ass song. But when I wrote the song, I wanted something that had a tremendous amount of layering, since I'm the only guitar player. I didn't want it to sound just boring and just blah, just very, very structured, very major, minor sounding. I wanted it to have a lot of layers. So I used a lot of pedal tones, and I used a lot of droning tones. So what I did is I started here with an A, and if you notice, the chord is moving right here. I'm leaving, for all of them except for one chord, I'm leaving this A open. This is my pedal tone. And I'm leaving this B and E open. These are my droning tones. And the song goes like this. Now up to tempo, it sounds like this. And that just really, having the consistency of that B and E constantly droning over the bottom just really fattens up the sound of everything. So what we got here is this is actually an A add 9. And what we're doing is we have finger number 1, we got it on the 6th fret, 3rd string. Finger number 2, we have it the 7th fret on the 4th string. Now what we're doing is we're just moving this finger, we're moving it down 1/2 step to the 5th fret. Listen how beautiful that is. And this becomes an A minor add 9. Now we take this position down to the 5th fret, to where we have the first finger is on the 3rd string, 4th fret. And then you have your finger number 2 is going to be in the 5th fret on the 4th string. And this becomes a G6. Listen to that. Then when we jump down to here, what we've got is we have, and I'm just going to do from the bottom up. We have finger number 3, 3rd fret, 2nd string. Finger number 1, 2nd fret, 3rd string. And finger number 2 is going to go in the 3rd fret, 4th string. So open, 2nd string, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, 3rd string. A lot of 3rds and 2nds on this one. And then in the 3rd fret, 4th string. That is an F major 13. Listen how gorgeous that is. And again, I'm gonna play these slow and listen to the colors. Listen to the variations in the tones. And as pretty as that is, when you play it up to tempo, it kind of gets a very dark metal sound to it with all these 9s and 13s bopping around. And so anyway, that was the whole premise of that song, was built around those riffs. And the chorus is actually much simpler. The chorus is just a lot of F and G's, a lot of palm muting, a lot of heavy distortion. But what makes it is the verse. And then when it was playing that, now on the recording, I couldn't do it live, but on the recording, you got this part. But on the recording, I had this little riff laying over the top of that with a real light distortion. And I had that kind of just droning over the top of it, and it was just really fat and sounded fantastic. Okay, now another song that I was writing, this one was more actually of a ballad, and I went down the same exact road. I wanted to use a lot of droning tones on this song. And so it actually goes like this. Now, everybody knows what an E minor is, and they play it here. But there's so many better variations to play in E minor to give you more color. One is you can play it here. Gorgeous. And for this song, it actually happens to be right here, the E minor. So what I've got here is I've got on the 7th fret, 5th string, and on the 5th fret, 4th string. And then I move this down, and there again, the chord structure is primarily on the A and D string. And then I move this down, and we go down to the 5th fret right here on the 5th string, 4th fret, 4th string. And this is actually a D6, 9, 11. Listen how pretty that is. Then we take this chord shape and we just slide it straight down to the 3rd fret, and this gives us a C major 7. Then back up to the D6, 9, 11 to the E minor. And play to tempo, it sounds like this. And so on and so on. So the song moves along, and then it gets into the chorus phase, which goes like this. And I didn't like that. That D just didn't sound right to me there. Listen to it again. To me, that had too much of a country vibe to it. And that is not what I was going after at all. So I thought, well, hell, there's got to be something better I can do. So what do? Change the voicing of the D, and I don't mean by doing an inversion or anything like that, which inversions do help, but you start adding droning strings, and then you change the entire place, the entire way you play the D. So what I did is, coming off of this C, I played a D major 11 by sliding the entire thing up one full step. Oh, listen to that. And that gave me these droning strings right here of the G and of the E. Listen how beautiful that is. So instead of it originally sounding like this, now it sounds like this. And that changed the entire feeling and vibe of the song by getting rid of this D major and adding in a D major 11. And it changed the entire vibe and the entire sound of that one little section. Instead of going to this, now it goes to this. And that one chord adds so much color and so much space and texture to the ending of that phrase. D major, D major 11. And just listen to the difference. And that is absolutely gorgeous sounding. So, when you're playing your music, when you're writing your own stuff, and you're just hammering through these open chord shapes, the cowboy chords, and all these bar chords, start thinking outside the box a little bit, and start thinking of different ways to add in textures and droning strings, because that consistency, that when you're moving through the chords and you have that consistency, it adds a tremendous amount of thickness to the sound of your music. Prime example, this. And another song you probably may or may not be familiar with is, I did a video on this actually, is Ozzy Osbourne and Lita Ford, Close My Eyes Forever. And again, you have all these pedal tones. If you play the A, because the song is based off of A, but you have these droning tones. And it just, like I said, it makes the chords so much more expressive, and it adds a ton of texture and layers to what would normally be some pretty boring ass sounding chords. So when you're working on your music, don't forget to add those in. Go ahead and start looking, if you gotta, like I said, if you gotta play that D chord and it's just not sounding right, try that D major 11. And all you do is you play a C chord, move it up one full shape. It's absolutely gorgeous. F major 13. It's fantastic. E minor. D6 911. C major 7. D major 11. Absolutely gorgeous. So before we get into the closing statements of this thing, real quick, if you do have a photo you want to send, we're getting ready to do our part 2 of let me guess the type of music you play by the picture of the guitar that you send. We have gotten a few, so if anybody else wants to submit one, we're going to tell you, today is actually Monday. Been a busy ass weekend. Normally I do this on Sundays. So today's actually Monday. So we're going to take photos till probably Wednesday night, and we're probably going to shoot that other video around on Thursday-ish, maybe Friday, depending on how things pan out. So if you do want to send your photo, go ahead and send it there. Please subscribe to the channel. Check out my Patreon page. And remember, this is the guitar that we are giving away when we hit 50,000 subscribers. This is the Ibanez 1070 PBZ. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous guitar. Look at this thing. And actually, I have not played it because I don't want to damage it before somebody gets a chance to win this. But I thought I'd go ahead and bring it out for this video since we're just doing a bunch of clean chord stuff. Can't get too violent on it. Fantastic. So don't forget to send your photos in. Please subscribe to the channel. And remember, if you share the videos, then that will up the amount of people that adds to the algorithm. From what I understand, it goes out to more people, and more people like the video, the faster we get to give this guitar away. So please share the video, like the video, give it a thumbs up, click the bell, do all the fun stuff you're supposed to do so we can go ahead and get where we need to be to get this thing out the door to somebody. Real quick, if it is done inside of the continental United States, I will pay for the shipping to have this shipped. It will come in the original Ibanez gig bag that it came in. If you are overseas and you do win this guitar, you pay for the shipping overseas. I figure I'm doing my part by giving away a guitar I paid $1,600 for. The least you can do is pay for the shipping. Even if it costs you $500, you're still getting a hell of a deal. So if it's overseas, then the shipping comes down to the winner at that point. When I give this away, after much debate, much consideration, much thought, a few drinks, and me and the wife going back and forth, we are going to announce this. When we hit 50,000 subscribers, I will let everybody know when we're going to announce the guitar giveaway. At that point, when I do this, you will have 24 hours to contact me and let me know that you are the winner. We will verify everything, and if everything is even Steven, you get the guitar. If I do not hear from you within 24 hours, then I will pull another name out of the bag and give it to somebody else. And the same thing, if for some reason I don't hear from that person within 24 hours, we just keep going down the line. We just keep pulling names out until somebody wins this guitar. So in other words, somebody will be winning this guitar. So I will keep, as we start closing in on that magic number, I will keep everybody informed on what's going on all the time. So everybody will know when we're doing the live video, because we will be live streaming the giveaway, and there'll be no reason for whoever wins it to miss what's going on, because I will keep everybody informed all the time. So to wrap this thing up, when you are writing your own music, check out using some drone strings and some pedal tones. That'll really, like I said, add a lot of layer and texture to your sound. And it just makes everything that much better. Everything. It's like Cool Whip. It just makes everything better. Is it Cool Whip? No, it's not Cool Whip. It's that mayonnaise shit. That mayonnaise spread crap. Whatever the hell it was. This thing that makes everything better. I can't remember what that was. But it was that mayonnaise, fake mayonnaise, cheesy garbage stuff. And remember, I do have a video coming up on Queensryche, Another Rainy Night, and I've got to get started on my Moonlight Sonata because we're going to learn it on piano. And you guitar players that have a keyboard, guess what? Now's a damn good time for you to learn how to play Moonlight Sonata, damn it. Then we're going to turn around and we're going to transpose it to guitar. So that's going to be pretty cool, but that is going to be a long video series. That's going to be a lot of work, so be patient with me. And again, on that note, like the great Sammy Hagar says, if you miss the beat, you lose the rhythm and nothing falls into place. Sorry about the microphone sitting here like a black phallic-shaped thing. sticking in my damn face. I hate lapel mics, man. They drive me insane. You move, they rustle around, they make a ton of noise. I can't stand them. So as long as I'm in here, y'all gonna have to deal with my shotgun mic sitting here in front of my face. And that's just how the hell it is, damn it. Again, like the great Sammy Hagar says, if you miss the beat, you lose the rhythm and nothing falls into place. And that works for everything in your life. Whatever instrument you play, practice, 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 because practice does make perfect. And for the love of God, use a metronome and learn your theory. And until the next video, rock on.